Hey guys, Noel here. It's Monday. I've got my morning coffee in my Pikachu cup, and I definitely need it because we're reviewing Mortal Kombat 2 for the YouTube channel. Now, Mortal Kombat 2 is a game that I always wanted when I was growing up in elementary school, but it was one of those games where my mom was telling me, you know what, this game is too dark, it's too violent. I'm not paying for it. So. I did have Mortal Kombat 1, which maybe because of my situation where that was the Mortal Kombat I played growing up, that's my favorite Mortal Kombat. But as we play this, I think I'll also have some other explanations as to why I think Mortal Kombat 1 is the best Mortal Kombat. But I remember Mortal Kombat 2 was out when I was in elementary school, and I would remember watching WCW Saturday Night and Bloodsport on TBS. And they would always show the commercial for Mortal Kombat 2 for the home consoles, and that commercial I think is, after Final Fantasy VII, as maybe the best American video game commercial I've ever seen. And by maybe I mean there's no maybe about it. The only maybe would be if I'm thinking of Japanese commercials that I haven't seen, or Japanese commercials that I'm not remembering. But Mortal Kombat 2's commercial is amazing, and so I really wanted the game. And I remember I had this one friend, he would have a birthday party every year, and I'd always be excited because he had Mortal Kombat 2, go over and play it. And Mortal Kombat 2 was also in the arcade of the Walmart lobby where I grew up, and it had Mortal Kombat 2 and Art of Fighting and Street Fighter 2, and those games were just so fun to play. And Mortal Kombat 2, definitely because it had digitized actors, really had a unique look to it. Now, even when I was younger, I always Street Fighter was always more evocative. I think it was more emotional. I think it was more artistic. I think it was more engaging, and I think the gameplay was smoother on Street Fighter. But Mortal Kombat 2 definitely had, in all the Mortal Kombat games, the combination of the digitized actors and the over-the-top moves, and the well-crafted aesthetics of Mortal Kombat definitely made the game really unique and powerful, and gave it, I think, a lot of the praise that it deserved. Now, Mortal Kombat 2, we're going to review that, and we'll take a look at it. Let's look at this on consoles here, with a K, right? Now, I did a video about the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat 1. And the Mortal Kombat 1 for Sega Genesis, I thought was a lot better than the Super Nintendo version. I think a lot of people thought that was a lot better than the Super Nintendo version. And quite honestly, I thought that the Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat might even be better than the arcade version of Mortal Kombat because of how good the original music on the Sega Genesis one was, in addition to all the cool codes you could do with it. Now, Mortal Kombat and the Sega Genesis version also maintained all the attract modes as best it could. It couldn't really do the full motion video captures, but of the character biographies. But nevertheless, they were able to get at least still pictures of the biographies and new character endings and all that stuff. Although Kano's only had one picture, which was kind of weird. But for Mortal Kombat 2, things are kind of reversed. The Super Nintendo version is much truer to the arcade style in terms of the presentation. Things like character endings, things like the attract mode is closer to the original than the Sega Genesis version. The Super Nintendo version also has a wider color palette and better textures than the Sega Genesis version. The Sega Genesis version has higher resolution, I think smoother gameplay, and I think even though the Super Nintendo has a wider color palette, the coloring and aesthetic on the Sega Genesis version matches the arcade version better. The problem with the Sega Genesis version of this game is that there's no character endings. It's just text, and there's nothing really in the attract mode other than demos of fighting. So that's really annoying. So there's your comparison of the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis Mortal Kombats. Let's show a little bit of gameplay, and hopefully this will show up. I always say let's do the worst first. I don't know which one is worse. It's kind of based on preference. Super Nintendo and Nintendo fans are so, I think, traumatized from how good the first Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat was, that if you go and look on YouTube, They are just, they act like the Sega Genesis version of this game is like the Ebola virus. It's really not. It's not bad at all. So I'm kind of tempted to start off with that version. Why don't we do that? And yeah, here it is. I mean, it looks really good. And in fact, even though the color palette is more limited than the Super Nintendo version, this, in my opinion, feels more like the arcade version in terms of its gameplay. Mainly because I think the screen resolution is higher, and I think the color palettes. I think this matches the arcade better in terms of the colors used. So let's do a match here on this. The cool thing about the Sega version of this game too is you can get a lot of credits here. You can go. You really should have unlimited credits, but this will give you 30 credits. The Super Nintendo version gives you 4 credits, which is absolute nonsense when you get to Kentaro. I'll be Reptile since I was, my boyhood dream was to play as Reptile, so. The other thing I forgot to mention about this, let me hit the lights in here, maybe that'll help things too, is that, 2 things. The music on the Sega version of this is quite good, I think. The other thing I should mention is, for some reason, the Sega version only uses 3 buttons, which I don't know if I like that or not, because Mortal Kombat, it has the high punch, low punch style to it. So, I don't know. On the one hand, it's kind of more convenient to have all the high punch and low punch combined. On the other hand, you could argue it takes away from the gameplay experience. So there's that. There's only 3 buttons rather than 6. So let's do another match on this. This lower on the ladder, so the difficulty's not as annoying, but the difficulty on the console versions, again, is much more tolerable than the arcade. One thing I don't like about this having 3 buttons playing as Reptile is that it's harder, at least I think it's harder to pull off his orb move. The other thing I sometimes get mixed up on is back. Come on. Well, whatever. I couldn't turn into a Reptile and eat his head. Another thing I should say about Reptile, let's look at the Super Nintendo version of this game. I kind of liked it better when he was more mysterious in Mortal Kombat 1 and was, I'm cool with him being an actual reptile, but they've taken him so far away from his original character in the 3D Mortal Kombats that it's kind of like he's just like a dinosaur now. And I much like him as the mysterious, almost invincible, bright green ninja. So, but he's cool to play in this. This right here is the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat. I am Reptile and I just ate Sub-Zero's head. I'm going to try to show you guys how to unlock Jade and get to the Kentaro fight here, although I don't know if I'll be able to do that. To get to Jade, you basically have to win a fight using nothing but the low kick. See if that worked.
Flawless victory.
Yes! So the hidden character from Mortal Kombat 1 found the hidden character from Mortal Kombat 2. You found a passage from Outworld to the Earth Realm. Now you must battle with an undiscovered character from Mortal Kombat 1. So we're going to go back to Goro's lair. This always gets me super psyched. So now I can actually be Reptile and fight in a Mortal Kombat 1 level. Now, Jade is just like Reptile. She's in Mortal Kombat 1. She's fast and cheap and impossible, and my acid spit went right through her. I don't know what the hell that even was, but it is cool to show you guys the hidden character in this game, even if she is really very, very cheap. Man. Yeah, so that was horrendous. But yeah, there's Jade. So definitely now I've lost and I have to return to Outworld and I'll go fight Shang Tsung. So yeah, let's try to get to Kintaro here. Now, once you get to the final 3 bosses here, it just Shang Tsung's not that bad, but really the best way to beat Shang Tsung is just spam him. I mean, I'm serious. Just he will be cheap if you let him be cheap. So don't let him be cheap. If you jump, he'll like cut off your jump kicks. He'll just throw you. It's just annoying. So I mean, Sonya's clearly disgusted with my tactics in the background. But this will be a surefire way to save a credit and get to Kintaro. And you really have to do that because with the Super Nintendo version, you only get 4 credits. And I mean, there is a code to get 30 credits, but I just don't understand why they didn't give you more credits to begin with if this game is going to be so cheap. But enough of my complaining here. Let's see how this goes here. Yeah, I mean, the music in the Super Nintendo version is good. It's not a bad take on the arcade. I don't know, just personally I prefer the music on the Sega version better. I mean, I think you can see on this version that the colors are not as vivid, but they're brighter than the Sega version. And there is a wider range of colors and richer textures. The picture comes off clearer, but it feels like it plays slightly more slowly than the Sega Genesis version. This is the Kintaro fight. This is a notoriously cheap fight. It might not go well. Let's see how it goes. I probably won't be doing too much talking on this because I really, really need to try to concentrate here because he is insanely cheap. It didn't go well at all. The key to winning this fight, I have found, is you need to try to lure him into the corner here, and then spam him with low punches, and that is really the best way I can find to beat this guy. Being Liu Kang helps. It's probably not helping that I'm Reptile here. That didn't go well at all. I entered in a, in between takes, I entered in the credits code, and it did work. I have 29 credits here. I may end up going through all of these credits on Kintaro. But the credit code is, I believe it's left, up, right, down, left, and select, at the characters screen here. So, we'll see if I can beat Kintaro here. He is, it's a legendary, how insanely cheap he is. Not good. There's Kano in the background. He's fairly annoyed at how cheap Kintaro is, as am I. So, let's see what we can do here. Well, we know blocking will get me nowhere. Yeah, he's bad, man. It's not even, You can't fight this like a normal fight. I'm gonna be Liu Kang. I beat the game last night with Liu Kang, And, you know, honestly, once I got to Shang Tsung, it wasn't really that bad. With Shang Tsung, I basically just had to keep my distance and spam him with Liu Kang's little fireball. Yes. Okay. This right here will knock him out. Now, if I can do that again, which I doubt I can, I will beat Kintaro.
Round 2. Fight.
Yes! I got him! Ha ha ha! Wow, that went a lot better than I expected it to go. Yeah, no, Kintaro, he's horrendously cheap, and that is a... Here we go.
You will die, mortal.
Whew, one more and I beat the game here.
Is that your nut?
Yes!
No.
Yeah, Shang Tsung's a lot easier than Kintaro. So now he's gonna blow up here. In the arcade, this all happens a lot more quickly. But this is how you... The Super Nintendo version of this game actually has the character endings, which the Sega Genesis version only has text. So let's sit back and enjoy this here. Crank the volume up. So I am once again the Supreme Mortal Kombat Warrior. When his Shaolin Temple in ruins, Liu Kang journeys into the Outworld, enters Shao Kahn's tournament, and unleashes a fury that does not end until the defeat of Shao Kahn. Liu Kang then returns to the seclusion of his Shaolin Temple. He pays his respects to his lost brothers and finally realizes that the events which have taken place were all fulfillment of his destiny. In the arcade version, this is a lot bigger. The thumbnail has been shrunk quite a bit for the Super Nintendo version. And guys, let's actually just end this video here. On this note here, we'll watch the cast of characters, and we'll just kind of let the credits to Mortal Kombat 2 bring us out. And really, thank you for watching this, and I'm really pleasantly surprised that I was able to beat this game for this video. So much Daniel Pacina here. he's all the ninjas in Johnny Cage. Yeah, incidentally, totally look into interviews with the original live-action cast of Mortal Kombat. I wish they'd go back to doing live-action Mortal Kombat. I really enjoy the costumes and the aesthetic of the digitized graphics over the kind of well done but kind of generic 3D video games of the new Mortal Kombat. So, not generic in a bad way, it's just that it's not unique anymore. The digitized graphics made Mortal Kombat unique. Now it's just kind of another 3D fighting game. Yeah, the credits to the Sega version, you know, the lack of the character endings other than text for the Sega version, I didn't really like. So this is, I really, if you have to choose between the Sega and Super Nintendo version, for Mortal Kombat 1, totally go Sega Genesis. For Mortal Kombat 2, go with the Super Nintendo. Although the Sega version is not bad. It's just, it's lacking some things. But it certainly isn't as bad as fans make it out to be. More guys who were forced to play this game and got paid for it. Good for them. Yeah, seriously, I don't know if, as of right now, I can beat Kentaro with anyone other than Liu Kang. I mean, it makes sense that Liu Kang is well suited to fight the bosses of this game because he is the main character. But yeah, man, Kentaro, it's like if you got to have a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill, and that's really all there is to it. But he can be so insanely cheap if you don't know how to fight him right. And really, that glitch move is the most effective way to beat him. And it's not as easy to pull off as it looked in this video. So, you know, be glad you caught it, and I'm glad I was able to do it for everyone out there in YouTube land. Game over. All right, gang. So until next time, I will see you later, and you take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.